Hello, everyone. I'd like to share a few thoughts about an article that I recently wrote called Tired of Reading Only Male Perspectives on Christian Sexuality. Here are 14 women you ought to read. And this was published by Baptist News Global on May 19th, 2023. So, for those who are paying attention to the conversation online in evangelicalism and American religion recently, you may have noticed that there's been a controversy due to conservative evangelical men writing about sexuality in ways that center their pleasure and perspectives, and that ignores the perspectives and pleasure of women. And so basically, in complementarian of evangelicalism, women tend to write for one another. They tend to talk amongst themselves, and they don't really engage much in the larger theological conversation across gender because they have to fit into very specific roles and contexts and carry themselves with very specific demeanors. And so what I wanted to do with this article was just point out how there's far more out there to read and explore than what the world of conservative evangelicalism provides. And so I wrote about 14 books that discuss the intersection of Christian theology and sexuality that were written by a racially and theologically diverse group of women. And so there are Black women, white women, Asian, Latina women, and then from the as far as the books themselves go, there's a range of books about personal stories or how society shapes women's experience, expectations, and theology. There are books by more liberal women that conservative women would probably never imagine listening to, or especially conservative men would probably never imagine reading. And then there are also books by more conservative women that LGBTQ people would have significant issues with, but who offer insights into patriarchy and how patriarchy functions that we can learn from. And so there are also books about technology. There are books about that are really deeply, heavily based on research. And so there really are a lot of options here to explore if we're willing to listen. And so I would encourage you to go read my article and pick up a couple of the books. I have links there for all the books where you can buy them. And so maybe pick up a couple of them that may resonate with you, or that may stretch you to a point where you're learning about the perspectives and experiences of people that you may not normally learn from or may be aware of. And then go learn to read these books in a way that fosters empathy and compassion for the women who wrote them.